Have you ever heard of a salmon cannon? It sounds like something out of a cartoon, right? Well, it's a real invention, and it's designed to shoot fish over massive concrete walls. Why? Because these walls, which we call dams, are a huge problem for fish trying to get home. Today, we're diving deep into a massive debate. Should we tear down all the dams? Dams are everywhere. There are over 90,000 of them in the United States alone. For centuries, we've built them to control floods, irrigate our farms, and generate clean energy. In fact, about 16% of the world's electricity comes from hydropower. They've been pillars of our progress, turning deserts into farmland and powering our cities. So what's the big deal? Well, imagine you're a salmon. Your entire life is a remarkable journey. You're born in a freshwater stream, you travel hundreds of miles to the ocean to mature, and then, against all odds, you fight your way back upstream to the exact same spot you were born to lay your own eggs. It's an incredible cycle of nature. Now, imagine a 700-foot concrete wall suddenly appears in your path. That's what a dam is to a salmon. It's a dead end. This obstruction is the core of the problem. Dams completely block the ancient migration routes of fish like salmon, sturgeon, and eels. For these species, migration isn't just a trip. It's essential for their survival. When they can't reach their spawning grounds, populations plummet. The Pacific salmon, for instance, has seen its numbers dwindle dramatically in regions with extensive dam networks. This doesn't just affect the fish. It creates a domino effect across the entire ecosystem. Birds, eagles, and even forests rely on the nutrients that salmon bring back from the ocean. When the salmon disappear, the whole food web begins to crumble. But it's not just about blocking the path. Dams fundamentally change the river itself. A free-flowing river is a dynamic living system. It carries sediment downstream, creating habitats like sandbars and deltas. It has varying temperatures and oxygen levels, which different species are adapted to. When you build a dam, you turn a river into a bathtub. The water stops moving and a large, still reservoir forms behind the dam. This stagnant water is a completely different environment. First, it heats up much faster under the sun. Colder water holds more oxygen, so as the reservoir warms, oxygen levels drop. Many native fish and aquatic insects are adapted to cool, oxygen-rich water and simply can't survive in these warmer, bathtub-like conditions. Instead, these reservoirs often become breeding grounds for algae blooms, some of which can be toxic. These blooms can further deplete oxygen, creating dead zones where very little can live. The river downstream of the dam is also starved of sediment. This means beaches and deltas can start to erode and the natural process of land building is halted. The water released from the dam is often unnaturally cold and clear, which can be a shock to the downstream ecosystem that has evolved with the river's natural rhythm. So, we have a major conflict. On one hand, dams provide us with essential resources, clean power, reliable water for agriculture, and protection from devastating floods. They are massive investments in infrastructure that support our modern way of life. On the other hand, they wreak havoc on river ecosystems, pushing many species toward extinction and altering the very nature of our waterways. This brings us back to the central question: what should we do? The idea of removing all dams is a radical one. The economic and logistical challenges would be immense. Think about the communities that rely on reservoirs for their water supply or the industries powered by hydroelectricity. Removing a large dam isn't as simple as just blowing it up. It's a complex, expensive process that involves slowly drawing down the reservoir and managing the tons of sediment that have built up behind the wall over decades. But we are seeing a growing movement for dam removal, especially for older, less efficient, or deadbeat dams that no longer serve a significant purpose. In the US, over 1,000 dams have already been removed, and the results have been astonishing. On the Elwha River in Washington state, the removal of 2 large dams led to the dramatic return of salmon within just a few years. The river began to flow freely again, transporting sediment that rebuilt the estuary and brought life back to the riverbanks. These projects show that rivers can be remarkably resilient. However, for the dams that are too important to remove, we're getting creative. And this is where things like the salmon cannon come in. Officially called the fish transport system, it is a flexible tube that uses pressure differences to gently move fish over a dam in seconds. It's a fascinating piece of engineering designed to solve a very specific problem. Another, more common solution is the fish ladder. These are essentially a series of small, stepped pools that allow fish to climb their way past the dam. While they can work for strong swimmers like salmon, they aren't effective for all species, and many fish still struggle to find and use them. Engineers are constantly trying to improve these designs, creating more nature-like fishways that better mimic a natural stream. We're also seeing new turbine designs that are safer for fish to pass through, and operational changes where dam managers release more water during key migration periods to help guide fish downstream. The debate over dams isn't about choosing between human needs and nature. It's about finding a better balance. It's about recognizing that healthy rivers are a valuable resource in their own right, providing us with clean water, abundant wildlife, and recreational opportunities. The future likely involves a combination of strategies: strategic removal of outdated dams, retrofitting important dams with the best available fish passage technology, and rethinking how we manage water and generate energy in the 21st century. There's no single answer to the question, should all dams be removed? The answer is probably no. But should we critically re-evaluate every single dam and ask if its benefits still outweigh its environmental cost? Absolutely. The story of dams is a story of human ingenuity, but it's also a powerful lesson in unintended consequences. As we move forward, we have the opportunity to apply that same ingenuity to heal our rivers and coexist more sustainably with the natural world. What do you think? Should we prioritize removing more dams, or focus on innovating our way around the problems they create? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this topic interesting, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the world around us. See you next time.